The sun was high, but the mood at the rundown livestock auction was darker than ever. Among cattle and crates, a scrawny, silent girl stood chained to her father's arm. He slurred to the crowd, "She don't talk, don't hear. Just needs feed in. Who wants her?" The room gasped. Some laughed. Others walked away. But one man didn't, Cole, the lonely rancher known for keeping to himself. Cole didn't speak. He simply pulled out a few notes, gave the man a disgusted look and took the girl's arm gently. Her pale eyes flicked up at him, expression unreadable. No one stopped him, not even the drunk father who was too busy counting the money. Cole didn't buy her out of pity. He did it out of anger at a world where someone would treat a child like cattle. He loaded her into his truck silently, unsure of what he'd just done. The drive back to the ranch was silent. The girl sat stiffly, her hands clenched in her lap. Cole watched her from the corner of his eye, wondering what he'd do now. He didn't even know her name. When they arrived, she hesitated to leave the truck. Cole didn't force her. "Come when you're ready," he said. She didn't respond but followed him moments later like a shadow. He gave her the spare room and pointed to things slowly: bed, bathroom, kitchen. She nodded but didn't speak. He whispered under his breath, "Guess we're both used to the quiet." The next morning Cole found her sweeping the porch. "You don't have to do that," he said. She looked up, then picked up a stick and wrote in the dirt, "Mara?" Cole nodded. "Mara. Got it." He gestured to his mouth and ears, then to her. "You hear anything?" She shook her head. Cole figured that was that. "All right. You stay as long as you want. Just don't go near the west fence. Bulls don't like strangers." That night she cooked. Not well, but it was edible. Cole stared at her, wondering how many years she'd survived like this. She didn't belong in chains. She belonged somewhere safe. Mara started tending to the animals. She moved with surprising confidence, calming even the skittish horses. Cole noticed. "Animals trust you," he said. "Means something." She smiled faintly, the first time he'd seen any emotion from her. But she had nightmares. Screams in the dark. She'd wake up shaking, panting, eyes wide in terror. Cole began leaving a lamp outside her room. He didn't ask questions. He just made sure she knew someone was there. He wondered what kind of man would sell his daughter. But Mara never wrote about him again. As if trying to erase him from her memory. One evening, Cole was on the phone with a neighbor. "She's a good kid. Smart. But deaf, poor thing." He didn't know Mara was behind the barn, close enough to hear. Her jaw clenched. The next morning she spilled a cup. He muttered, "Clumsy." She signed nothing but looked him dead in the eye. Later he muttered, "I'll need to fix that fence." And that afternoon Mara was already out there with a hammer. Cole stood on the porch, narrowing his eyes. She can't hear, can she? He started watching her more carefully after that. Cole dropped a spoon behind her. She flinched. He sneezed, she turned. He played a loud radio when she walked by. She stopped and glanced toward the speaker. That night, he cornered her gently. "You hear, don't you?" Mara stared at him. After a pause, she nodded just once. "Why pretend?" he asked. Her lips trembled. She wrote, "Safer if they think you can't hear their plans." Cole's blood ran cold. She wrote more that night. How men had talked about her in front of her. How she'd memorized where to hide, what not to say. Her silence had saved her more than once. Cole was stunned. This wasn't just a girl playing mute. This was a survivor. "You're safe here," he said firmly. "Nobody's gonna hurt you again." She looked at him with wary eyes, like she wanted to believe him but didn't know how. A letter arrived. No return address. Inside was a photo of Mara at the auction with the words, "You bought what isn't yours." Cole's hands clenched the page, veins bulging. He didn't show Mara but started keeping a shotgun loaded. He also taught her how to handle a knife. "Just in case," he said. She nodded, no questions. But that night she placed the letter on the table. She had found it anyway. She looked at him and signed, "He's coming." Cole came back from town to find broken glass and boot prints. Mara was locked in the barn, alone but unharmed. Her father had come, but fled when she screamed loud enough to wake the horses. Cole kicked the barn door open, checked her over, then said nothing. Instead he hugged her, tight. Mara froze, then hugged back. That night she didn't sleep alone. She curled up in a blanket in the living room while Cole sat with his shotgun, guarding the door. After that night their bond deepened. She laughed more, wrote jokes in the dirt. Cole showed her how to ride horses. She wasn't just a shadow anymore. She was sunshine in a quiet world. They built a routine. She'd cook. He'd fix. They ate together. Sometimes they danced in the living room to old music. Even if she barely knew the steps, she followed his lead. And one day she reached for his hand and didn't let go. One bull got loose. Cole ran to stop it. Mara shouted his name, his real name, not Sir, not Rancher. He froze mid-run, shocked to hear her voice. She hadn't spoken since she arrived. But that day she screamed like she'd done it 100 times. It broke the silence like thunder. Cole. The bull turned, he avoided the hit by inches. They both collapsed on the ground afterward, breathing hard. You spoke, he whispered. You heard me, she whispered back. A well-dressed man arrived at the ranch. I'm Mara's uncle, he claimed. Her father's dead. I want custody. Cole narrowed his eyes. She's not cattle. You don't get to claim her. The man smiled coldly. We'll see what the law says. Cole saw the panic in Mara's eyes. She didn't want to go. And he wasn't about to let her. Cole hired someone. Dug into the man's story. What he found made his blood boil. Cole discovered the uncle wasn't related at all, just an old associate of Mara's father, involved in some underground dealings. He had no legal claim. But he did have dangerous connections. Cole returned with evidence, ready to fight. He handed the fake uncle a thick file. Try again. Next time you lie, I won't use paperwork. The man left, but his warning echoed. She knows something. That's why we want her. That night, Cole asked Mara directly, what do they think you know? Her eyes clouded. She whispered, money? Hidden somewhere. My father always mumbled about it when drunk. Mara started remembering phrases, places, things her father said when he thought she couldn't hear. The gold's under the old roots, he'd slur. Ain't nobody gonna find it but her. Cole took her to where the ranch's trees met the forest. They dug and dug until her shovel hit something hard. A rusted box. Inside, old coins, cash, and a journal with names and numbers. Cole stared at the fortune. He was hiding this? All this time? Mara didn't care about the money. She looked terrified. If they know it's here, they'll come again. That night, the ranch caught fire. Smoke billowed. Horses screamed. Mara and Cole barely got out. Someone had poured gas in the barn. It was no accident. Cole knew who it was. He chased a shadow into the woods and caught a glimpse of the fake uncle, smirking before vanishing again. Cole returned, soot-covered, hands shaking. Mara sobbed in his arms. I don't want to lose you, she whispered. Cole looked her in the eyes. Then you won't. I'm not going anywhere. Cole packed a bag. We're leaving. Tonight. Mara hesitated. This is your home. He shook his head. You're my home now. They left the ranch, hiding the box in an abandoned cabin. Cole taught her how to shoot. If it comes down to it, you don't hesitate. Mara nodded, fire in her eyes. She wasn't just surviving anymore. She was preparing to fight. Someone tipped off the men hunting them. The cabin was raided. They escaped through the back, but the journal was gone. Mara was heartbroken. That was proof. Cole conned her. They only got pages. Not your memory. You remember every number, don't you? She nodded slowly. It wasn't just about survival anymore. It was about justice. Cole took Mara to a distant lawyer, one who owed him favors. They handed over what remained of the journal, the coins, and Mara's story. The lawyer took it to the authorities. Within days, raids were happening. The fake uncle was arrested. A network of crimes, spanning years, was exposed. And Mara had helped bring it down. For the first time, she didn't feel like a victim. She felt powerful. Months passed. Cole rebuilt the ranch from ashes. Mara stayed by his side. They planted new trees, raised new animals. She laughed often now, really laughed. One day she said it without fear, I'm not deaf. I was never broken. I was just hiding. Cole smiled. And now? She took his hand. Now I'm living. Under the same tree where they'd found the box, Cole looked at her. I bought a girl once. But I didn't know I was getting a whole future. Mara laughed. You didn't buy me. You rescued me. He leaned in, heart pounding. She met him halfway. The kiss was soft, slow, and everything unsaid finally said. Weeks later, Mara received a handwritten letter. No name, no return address, just one sentence. You were supposed to stay quiet. Her hands trembled as she showed it to Cole. He read it twice, jaw tightening. They're still out there, he muttered. The ones behind your father, the ones who used him. Mara didn't flinch this time. Then let them come. She wasn't the scared girl from the auction anymore. She was fire now, and they were about to learn what flames could do. Cole hired someone he trusted, a tracker. Quiet, sharp-eyed ex-military. Within days they found signs, tire tracks near the ranch, cameras hidden in trees. Someone had been watching for weeks. Mara helped dismantle them herself. They want fear, she said. Let's give them rage instead. Cole stared at her with pride and awe. You're braver than anyone I've ever known. Together they planned a trap, one final confrontation. But nothing could prepare them for who would walk into it. That night an old man was caught sneaking into the barn. But it wasn't an enemy, it was the man who once raised her. Her father. Alive, sober, and crying. Mara stood frozen. You sold me, she whispered. He fell to his knees. They made me. I owed them. I thought they'd kill us both if I didn't. Cole didn't believe a word, but Mara hesitated. She looked into her father's eyes. The guilt was real, but the damage was deeper. I forgive you, she said quietly. But you're not welcome here. The trap was set near the old woods. They waited in silence. Then headlights. 3 men stepped out. Armed. Ready. But they didn't expect Mara holding a rifle. You were right, she shouted. I did hear everything. And now the law knows too. Police lights flashed behind her as backup arrived. The men tried to run, didn't get far. Cole stood beside her, proud. The girl he once thought was silent had become the voice that ended an empire of filth. The arrests made headlines. Mara was offered interviews, book deals, fame. She refused them all. I didn't survive to become a story. I survived to live. Cole respected her even more for it. He asked her what she wanted next. To build, she said. To create something real. With you. So they did. The ranch flourished. Together they rebuilt it stronger, freer, quieter, but never lonely again. Under the same tree where he once found her voice, Cole dropped to one knee. You're not the girl I rescued anymore. You're the woman I want to spend forever with. Mara blinked away tears. I never thought I'd belong anywhere. He smiled. Then stay here. With me. Always. She nodded, then tackled him into the grass laughing. Yes, rancher. Always. It wasn't fancy. It wasn't perfect. But it was theirs. Years later they sat on the porch, 2 kids chasing chickens in the yard. Cole rocked gently in his chair. Mara rested her head on his shoulder. Remember the auction? She whispered. He chuckled. Best mistake I ever made. She smiled. Not a mistake. A miracle. From silence and chains to love and freedom, Mara's journey wasn't just survival. It was transformation. The lonely rancher hadn't just bought a girl that day. He'd found the one thing he didn't know he was missing, a reason to live again.